on my calendar for probably the last 2 months, I've had a little note that I keep pushing along, and it says build the best customer experience, because I've had to revisit a whole bunch of stuff, including my booking form, which I got here, my delivery email, and some other things I'm going to show you. I wanted to share this with you because not only did I end up touching on some really weird things I hadn't in the past, like I've done label work for a while, but I figured out a few things I'm going to do a little bit differently with label work. Also, how I'm going to bolster the referral side of my business and engage and reward my clients for that. As well as the final thing is just a small user experience thing for file sharing. Now, all this said, customer experience is critical. Your studio flow is critical when it comes to communications. So I'm just going to give a little self-plug here before I dive into this. I have a full masterclass on all my email communications, all templatized, down in the link below if you'd like to check it out. It's an incredible resource with pretty much all my emails, which I use and templatized and workshopped for you to understand. There's a link to that in the description below. But today I want to get to this first thing. We're going to get to 3 things. The first thing is label work. Now, when working with labels, they all have their different payment policies. Depending where they're domiciled, for the majority of my clients, they're domiciled in America. They have their own tax policies on how they interact with subcontractors and people they're working with. I've sort of neglected the logistics side of that for a little while. What happens when I've been working with labels at the moment is that I'll send out an invoice and then we'll work on the project, and then their accounting department will get it, and then they'll tell me about their payment terms and policies, and some of them even have their own payment portals where they set up subcontractors in, so you have to use a third-party app to provide your information to set it up. And what that's meant is, through probably over 100 projects a year I do for labels, is that I have a lot of loose threads I'm always trying to gather and manage. This one has net 45, this one has net 30, this one needs a W8BN, this one pays through PayPal, this one uses Wise transfer, international transfer, wire transfer. So, one of the things I worked on yesterday for building the best customer experience, this was more building the best sales cycle than the customer experience. The reason why I link this into customer experience is because sometimes clients get annoyed that they're having to iterate this information, or they're getting followed up on payments, which is a bit of a funny one. But anyway, I'm trying to front load this. So I've got in this red text here, which will only go out to label invoices, but it says, please let me know if you have any internal payment policies and I'll do my best to accommodate. Now, here's something I'm going to be trying, okay? Because I heard from the future, Chris Doe's channel, Ben Burns, is some larger companies, because I do work with larger labels, have accounting policies. And what I wrote here is, and what I'm going to send out people is, for net 30 policies, we offer 2/10 net 30 discounts. Now, if you're not sure what a 2/10 net 30 discount is, that basically means if they pay the invoice within the first 10 days of receiving it, they receive a 2% discount. Just that, you're probably thinking 2%, who cares? That's what, $50 or $80. But if their payment policy dictates to the accounting department they have to pay anything with a 2/10, that will mean instead of waiting 30 days for a payment, I only have to wait 10. And the reason why I'm very particular about this is because so many times there will be a net 30 or a net 45 invoice. It'll hit net 30 and they'll miss the invoice and they'll say, hey, we missed that invoice because we just did the pay cycle last week. We'll hit you up on the next pay cycle. So that net 30 becomes a net 60. And so I'm going to try using this. We offer 2/10 or 2/10 net 30 discounts, which is a good one. The other one is a lot of them send out because they're like, oh, you know, like you're a subby and you're international. We're going to send you a W8BN form, which is an IRS American tax form. So what I'm going to do is each financial year, I'm going to just have one filled out, which they can download directly rather than requesting it every time. So that just sort of, I'm just trying to nip in the butt payment and logistics for labels, so it is easier and streamlined both for the label and also for the artists and producers who are working on the record, because like people don't want to be like getting chased up or followed up or, hey, did your guy get this invoice or this, that, the other. So that was the first thing I did yesterday. I was sort of trying to figure out where's my biggest bottleneck, and this actual format of sending out booking information works exceptionally well. The only bottleneck I had last year was with labels, not all labels. It's actually really funny. Labels are like, just for a bit of insider when it comes to mixing and mastering for labels, it is like a swinging pendulum. Some labels I was working with would send me cash advance for like the next 3, 4, 5 projects for mixing or for mastering or whatever it is. Some of them wouldn't have even sent me the project or told me about it. They would wire transfer me my mixing fee. And this is really funny. They'd wire transfer me my mixing fee. And then like I wouldn't know what it is. And I'd send them a message. Then a few days later, they'll be like, oh yeah, we want you to mix this. And I'm like, cool, no worries. Let's roll. Whereas on the opposite side, you have labels who, again, and it's not. I'm not going to place blame and say they're trying to dodge payments or anything. Often it's a logistics thing where you have an accounting department and then an A&R and then somebody managing the project, and there's 3 or 4 people trying to push like communication error. If you have that many people CC'd in on an email, one person's like, so-and-so's taking care of it, but so-and-so thinks the other person's taking care of it, and things get lost, and that's perfectly cool and fine. I'm just trying to, especially for the larger labels, offer them a discount if they do a net 10, 2% discount. Cool. I don't know if that should be a 5 over 10 or a 2 over 10. I figure a 2 over 10 is enough to incentivize, especially for some of the bigger labels where I'm doing a lot of projects. 2 over 10 does accommodate a nice discount overall across many, many projects. So, yeah, that's the first thing I did. That's a WABN form. If you haven't seen one before, but if you work from Australia and you're working on projects for a US company or service, you'll be asked. You will eventually get asked to fill out one of these for them. So that's that first thing done. Labels done. I'm putting this terminology in here. The next thing was delivery emails. Now, something I trialed at the start of last year was creating discount codes that clients could give to friends, and in return they'd get a discount as well. So, I want to spread the word. I love my job. I love when people master records with me, and in my mind, I want to work with everyone. That's just the way I am. I love working on records. I love hearing sound, and especially I'm very blessed to have the clients I have. I don't mind those clients saying, hey, here's a discount code, giving it to a friend, and then somebody new coming to the studio who I haven't worked with before. Now, I trialed this last year for about a month. I sent out 30 codes. 2 of those codes got used, and that amounted to about $600 of revenue. I send out about 1,000 projects a year. So I figured at that run rate, that's not a bad thing to implement, not to mention new clients coming in and the customer lifetime value. So from a sales perspective, it's good. From a logistics perspective on my end, it's laborious. Now, you're probably saying, oh, you're complaining about doing something laborious to make money. But for me, it's you go in here, you type in the discount code, you generate the code, you put the percentage off, then you paste it into here, and you've got to do that 5-6 times every day at the end of the day when you deliver everything. I'm going to stick with this for 12 months. Hand on heart, I will do this for 12 months. And then we're going to see the results of this referral program, and I'll review it on the YouTube channel. This is a really good thing when it comes to customer experience, because not only does a new person coming in have a leg up with the discount, but also the person providing the referral, I'll be able to know whose project it is, because the discount code is typically the, what I've done in the past is the project number of the client who's giving the referral. So as soon as I know they've got it given a discount, that original person will get a discount as well on their next project. So I think it's got a good symbiosis there. So I'm going to be re-implementing that, and that's here. The message on copy I wrote yesterday was, I genuinely loved working on this project and would love to collaborate with more artists like you. If you know anyone who needs mixing or mastering services, feel free to share this one-time use discount code with them. Mastering. When they When they use it to book mastering on my site, I'll thank you with a 20% discount on your next project with me. Cool. So that's the second thing. That's the referral system I'm going to be implementing. And this is all off yesterday's logistics session. I might run one of those sessions live with you guys where I'm doing some business development. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments below. And the final thing was, it's a customer experience thing on the inquiry end when people are reaching out. Often I'll ask to listen to their mixes, and I'll get Dropbox links. I'll get Hightail links or OneDrive or like SoundCloud and all this shit. And I really am not a fan of many cloud services, especially when sharing permissions aren't on. That can slow down a project, especially with Google Drive, where people don't know the right link to share. So I want to alleviate that. I've got one link. Okay, I'm blurring that out because this link will publicly allow people to drop things into a folder on my Dropbox. So basically, I'm going to have one link and people can drag their files into there, and then I'll get a notification that they've delivered the files. Or better yet, I can send a request to somebody specifically so I know the exact email this is coming from. And then I will have a portal that people can drop things into. I know that sounds simple, and you've seen it many a time before on people's website, but for me, for 10 years, I haven't done it, and I keep getting frustrated at the same thing, and I think that's a bit silly, a bit stupid, and I should be smarter than that. So, yep, I've set up a file request form, and that's my third thing for customer experience. So, anyway, I really hope you enjoyed today's video, because tomorrow, way cooler video, less boring than this. I've got a whole bunch of mixes we're going to be doing quality control sessions on from you beautiful people who have sent it through. So I'm really looking forward to that. And with that, I'm going to wrap up here. And until next time,